One station making history every day.
My sweet home, Chicago.
Now, Rowe and Roper.
89 WLS.
You know, right now, callers number 15 and 16 at 312-591-UULS, 312-591-8857. Rip us off for a VIP package for two to an evening of laughter and stories of Sinatra with Tom Dreesen. And this Sunday at CD and Me in Frankfurt. The package includes dinner, drinks, tickets, and a meet and greet.
Nice.
You must be 21 or older. It's kind of there's a big exclamation point here when they do that. 21 or older.
Wow. All right, we got
to do
it.
that at cdandme.com has all the other details. So callers 15 and 16 at 591-UULS, 591-8857. And when you do the meet and greet with Tom Dreesen, do not bring up my name.
Yeah, probably better off.
All right. All of that. It's a lot of fun. And don't forget that CPAC Chicago coming to the Donnelly Stevens Center in Rosemont this Friday. Join 89 WLS along with U.S. Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann, Governor Chris Christie, Senator Rick Santorum, Governor Bobby Jindal, and many more. Go to the events page at WLSAM.com for all of your details.
Nice.
Right there. All right, and I guess, it would be the Scott Walker would be a good guy to have there. I don't know if it's right down the road. They could have him just stop by.
Good point.
Just run on down. Would it kill a guy? Would it kill a guy to call us back today? We did. We put a call into the governor's office.
Sure.
He's clearly in demand today, and I fully understand it. But we were very supportive of him all along the way.
Yes. Well,
in terms of when he was running for the we were supportive of him after we lost a bet to him. Let's just be honest.
We had to be. Yeah.
Yeah. We lost a bet and we had to be supportive. That's how it goes.
It was forced support.
All right, and another guy who was supportive of him is the former chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Steele, who's on the Super Celebrity Hotline. And tell us, Chairman, what do you make of this win in terms of what it prognosticates for November?
What I make of the win last night is it's great for Scott Walker and his administration. From a policy standpoint, he's vindicated. The steps he took to correct the fiscal hemorrhaging in his state appeared to be working sufficiently enough for people to have the confidence to reelect him, if you will. What it means to prognosticate to the fall, absolutely nothing.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. Good of you to stop by.
And I'll tell you why. Because if you want to do that, then Republicans have a whole heck of a lot of things to worry about, because last night Barack Obama won in the exit polling 50 points to 42. Mm-hmm. So Scott Walker won, but Barack Obama was clearly the individual that those same voters would vote for president. So you don't want to get into this trap of reading too much into defining November in June.
Can you explain that? You're a much smarter guy when it comes to this kind of thing than are we. So can you explain why it is that people who would vote for Scott Walker and want to clean up this fiscal mess would also vote for Barack Obama?
Well, it's an interesting phenomenon, and you see it a lot in the Midwest especially, where citizens will decide, you know what, I want a Republican to handle my business at home, and I'll send a Democrat to Washington. So you wind up where you have, a Republican governor and two Democrat U.S. senators. You wind up where you have a Democrat governor and a Republican senator. And so this is part of that, I think, just sort of the mindset of folks, how they view state government. And that's where they're, the rubber meets the road for them. You're closest to the street when you're talking state government and municipal government, number one. Number two, I think it also is a matter of folks feeling, and this was reflected in the polls as well, that hey, this was an overreach by the union. They played hardball, and they took a too big a bite of the apple. And you know what? We just don't see it that way. The administration is underway. We'll have another 2 years to size it up, and if we don't like what he's doing, we'll fire him at that time. But to fire him mid-course is not something we're inclined to do. So I think those variables came into play, and you have this sort of mixed messaging, if you will, of we like what Scott is doing for whatever reason. 37% of union households, which drove my buddy Ed Schultz absolutely out of his mind, supported Scott Walker last night. But those same households also voted for Barack Obama. So we still have work to do in Wisconsin. I would not.
Okay, another thing and I know it's very. Listen, Chairman. We're from Illinois, so we understand how confused the people in Wisconsin are firsthand. I mean, we get it, we understand it.
I wasn't going to go there.
Yeah, but I'm going to go there. 37%. It's a very interesting statistic here. 1 out of 3, more than 1 out of 3. People who voted for Scott Walker come from self-identified as union households, and that doesn't mean public unions, but I'm assuming some of those were, which would be kind of interesting. But probably
a lot of them.
Yeah, probably, but private sector unions for sure. Private sector, whether they're auto workers or the people who are working in the breweries there and all the other. There's a lot of hard industry in the state of Wisconsin, meat packing, stuff like that. Well, is there in toilet paper manufacturing? It leads the nation in toilet paper manufacturing. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, Green Bay is all about the toilet paper. So let's break that down too. Aren't they concerned about this anti-union sentiment in general, or no?
Oh yeah, I think there's got to be some concern, particularly among the progressives about why that was. I mean, I remember last night and again this morning on Morning Joe, the folks talking about the reality for unions right now is their messaging is falling flat. And so it's not a reflection of an anti-union bias. It's just that it's not resonating at all. And I think that people, they're looking at their bottom lines, they're looking at their households, and in this case, the arguments that were being made just didn't resonate with these folks, and whether they were union or not, whether they were supportive of unions or not. So if I'm on the Democrat ticket tonight, I'm looking at how we shore up that argument and how our partner, the unions, make the case, because now the conventional wisdom is that you're going to see a flood of this type of action taken by particularly Republican governors and legislators. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to continue to see a measured approach to this. But from a political standpoint, you really need to get to the bottom of why that message isn't resonating. And I think there can be made a good argument for union. I really believe that can be made. I'm not going to make it for the Democrats or the union.
This is like you're like an offensive coordinator going, I see how they can fix this problem against our defense. I'm not going to tell them how to do it.
Right.
But look at I can't believe they can't see this for themselves. All right, Chairman, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. I know you're very busy today.
Guys.
Thank you. All right, former chairman of the RNC. You can see him now on MSNBC. Michael Steele, 45 seconds in heaven with Christina.
89 WLS. Traffic and weather first on the 5s.
At 4:15, I'm Christina Filiaggi. Here's what's going on southbound 53, eastbound 290. It's going to be pretty much a mess. Southbound 53, heavy Gulf to Irving Park Road. An overturned vehicle accident takes out 3 right lanes. 2 left lanes are open. Now, from Gulf to Irving Park Road, it's going to take you about an hour. Once you get past Irving Park Road and continue east in 290, it's going to take you an hour still. From Irving Park, that is, into the downtown area. Outbound on the Eisenhower to Thorndale, 55-minute ride. Inbound Eden's 30 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction, 20 out. The Kennedy, out to O'Hare from downtown, 40 minutes. Inbound 50s. On the Stevenson, it's 50 minutes out to 355, 42 in the Ryan, 28 either way between the Circle and 95th. The 89 WS Weather Channel forecast, cleared night, low 54, sunny tomorrow, 79. It's 76 at O'Hare, 67 at the lakefront. Next report at 425 and 89 WLS.
Christina, really very fine work.
Thanks.
All right. You know what? I want to round out the point here that the chairman was just making, and then we go from there. We got a couple of phone calls, 591-8900. the unions, I think, in Wisconsin, the public sector unions were tone deaf. I think that's where they lost it. I think they lost it on the idea in a tough economy where people are really suffering. People who are working for, and let's just stay in Wisconsin for a second, those who are working for hard industry in Wisconsin and got laid off, and then they were watching the public sector unions and teachers, and specifically, it's a tough job. It's a very important job. There's no question about it, but people, it's the one thing that everybody has contact with. If you've got kids, you're in contact with the schools, and they see things that go wrong in the schools, and the schools often become, for parents, they're sometimes in conflict with the schools. Or at least at some point in their child's educational career, they're in conflict with it.
Right.
And so when they see a public sector union saying, well, we need this, we need that, and when there's at least one teacher that a parent is coming into contact with and goes, that teacher wasn't very good, they focus in on that. And they don't understand that they need to sell that. So I'll answer what the chairman wouldn't. They need to understand how to address that messaging problem, because all of this is about messaging. It's all very much about communicating your ideals here, and they haven't done a very good job of it. It was just like, hey, you can't do that to us. Right. Well, you can't say that to people who already got that done to them. There you go. All right, Forrest, you're on WLS. Hi, Forrest.
Hi, I was just surprised that the chairman wouldn't have noted that up to about an hour before the race was called last night, the immediate exit polling had put Walker behind yesterday. So it seems that there could be a problem with relying on the polls.
Yeah, I think, when we talked to Brett Baer earlier from Fox News Channel about exactly that, and there was some question about the sampling in the exit polling, and there was there was overrepresentation in the sample and underrepresentation in the sample. And the underrepresentation certainly in the sample was of those who were going to be voting for Scott Walker, and in part because of where that exit polling was done. They tend to do the exit polling in areas where there are more people. They're not going up to Minocqua, Wisconsin. A lot of people to the county up there, Vilas County, and trying to figure out, what the exit polls there. They're going to stick in Dane County near Madison. They're going to go to Milwaukee. They're going to go.
That kind of defeats the whole purpose of having the poll.
Yeah, and so you can see
sampling.
But that's also where
there's any excuse for not going out and voting and just forget what the polls are.
Yeah, well, but it is an interesting thing, because if the president loses Wisconsin in November, Wisconsin's one of those bellwether states. Wisconsin's very important. Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, those are the ones that are really going to make the difference for him, even though Wisconsin's not as delegate rich or as electoral college rich as some of the other states. It is, that I just mentioned, it's going to be very, very, very telling. And I know, and now, you believe me, they're going to pour some money into Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They already did.
Advertising. Yeah.
But then at the end, and thank you, Forrest.
Thanks, Forrest.
They were looking at Barrett, who was the mayor of Milwaukee, and
Slappy Barrett, they call him.
Slappy Barrett. Guy got slapped by a woman yesterday. You gave up too fast. They a couple weeks ago, the super PACs, the union super PACs, and also the presidents, the money that they would be spending in a race like this, they pulled out of. So and knowing, because they saw the polls going the wrong way for them, and they know they're going to need that money in November. There,
that's the thing. I think Walker outspent Barrett 8-1 total figures.
Yeah.
Talk about getting the message out there.
Yeah, and
better believe that has an impact.
Yep. All right. Coming up on the program, we will take you to Abbey Road Studios 50 years ago today.
All right, then. That'll be great.
The very interesting thing, today is the 50th anniversary of the first time the Beatles ever went to Abbey Road Studios and put anything down, ever went into any studio and recorded anything.
Sweet Loretta.
It's very interesting stuff. And we got the top 5 at 5.
You won't believe it.
Really?
No.
89